What's up, everyone? You're listening to the RAS Project. My name is Temelkov. I'm your host, and this is where we get 100% real, raw, and unfiltered. If you're looking for your typical conventional podcast, you're in the wrong fucking place. In today's episode, I want to talk about my 2020 rule, which is initiative, and I want to explain what that really means. Now that we're into a new year. Before we dive into the show, I want to let you know that the RAS Project is now available on my YouTube channel, on Facebook Watch, to watch in video format. And you can also listen on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. With that being said, so it's a new year. It's, what is today? I don't even know what today is, believe it or not. It's the 2nd of January. That's what it is. It's a new year. We're 2 days into the new year. And I'm sure you've heard everyone on the fucking internet talk about the New Year's resolutions, right? And that's all great and everything. But here's the sad part about this. About, I would say 60 to 70% of people on the internet will not follow through on any of those New Year's resolutions. Studies show that usually by middle of January, most people tend to flake out on those New Year's resolutions. They just don't follow through. And where the 2020 rule comes in and why I wrote this blog post on my blog is, for one, I wanted to emphasize this upon myself. You see, in 2019, it was actually December 23rd, 2018, I wrote down my 2019 goals. Now, I'm not really a goal-setting type of person, honestly, in that regard. But interestingly enough, I was able to accomplish 50% of the goals that I wrote down that I wanted to accomplish in 2019. Now, I'm very unhappy at the result that I achieved only 50% of those goals, of my 2019 goals. But I'm actually happy about the fact that I put in the effort. Now, some of those goals are actually carrying into 2020, because I was unable to accomplish them in 2019. But where the 2020 rule comes into play is initiative. You see too many entrepreneurs specifically, and this isn't just really specific to entrepreneurs, but just generally in life. If you want to accomplish something, you have to take initiative. And that's the problem with the internet and with entrepreneurship nowadays, is there's too much wishful thinking and not enough execution, not enough doing, not enough initiative. Now, for me personally, I put forth a lot of initiative into 2019. 2019 was the most prosperous year for me in business. But there's no ultimate satisfaction for me. I know that personally, I can put forth a lot more initiative, taking more action against the things that are important to me. This is exactly why I wrote the 2020 rule. The 2020 rule in part stands for clarity. Also, clarity around initiative and doing the things that are necessary for you to get the things that you want. Forget about all the bullshit on the internet. Initiative is what's going to get you where you want to be. So think about this for a second. If you want something really, really bad, you'll have to take initiative. And that is what I want to encourage you to do in 2020. Have the clarity to take more initiative. If you take more initiative, you're going to be able to practice more of what matters, practice towards the things that are important to you in your life, in your business, and be able to accomplish those things. I'm not going to lie to you. I am not the biggest on initiative. I struggle with it too, all the fucking time. But the one thing that I am really striving to push myself towards in 2020, and you should be doing the same thing, is to take more initiative, take more action every single time. I mean, here's a prime example. I was actually just scattering around my desk before recording the podcast, and I happened to find a cable that was sitting right here on my desk. And I was looking at the cable, and I'm like, what the fuck does this cable belong to? And I realized that it's a cable that belongs to my drone that actually hooks up to the phone, to the joystick, and provides the capability to actually fly the drone, right? And so by having this piece of wire sitting here on my desk and not putting it inside the drone, inside the entire box. I have a box that I use to carry my drone around. That will prohibit me from the ability to fly the drone next time because I forgot to put the wire back in the box. You see how that initiative comes full circle? If I hadn't taken the action to put that piece of wire back in the box, I wouldn't have been able to fly that drone the next time because chances are I would have forgotten about the fact that the wire that's been sitting on my desk belongs to the drone. It goes with it. It gives it the capability to connect to my iPhone and the joystick and the ability to fly. It's just how it works. And so that's one example of initiative. And it could be the smallest thing, honestly, that could make a drastic impact in your life and in your business. That's really the key takeaway here that I want to share with you is that take more initiative in 2020. Have more clarity around things. Be more willing. Have more positivity, more optimism, and take more initiative towards the things that are important to you. That is really a key part that I want you to understand that's going to help you transform your life and your business. It has done that for me. I did that in 2019. And in 2020, I'm looking to fucking take that to a whole new level. That's exactly why I wanted to talk about it in this particular episode of the RAS Project. And look, guys and gals, I have one favor to ask from you. If you feel that I've given you some value in this podcast, in this episode, some perspective, if I have helped you make a change in your personal life or business, I would greatly appreciate it if you share this podcast with someone else. I'm not selling you anything or forcing you to buy shit you don't want. I'm simply asking you to share this podcast with other entrepreneurs or anyone who wants to make a change in their life and business. If you enjoyed the podcast and you keep coming back, it would also mean the world to me if you shared a review on iTunes. It will help other like-minded folks know about the nature of content and value that I share on this podcast and give them a reason to listen. I'm always looking for sponsors for the RAS Project. If you're interested in sponsoring the podcast, please email me at ivan@razorsharpdigital.com, or you can also message me on Messenger, Instagram, Twitter, or LinkedIn. And without further ado, that will do it for this episode of the RAS Project. Thank you so much for tuning in. Remember, be anything else but average and never stop trying. Take care. Bye-bye.